Hello, Ames Chamber of Commerce members. This is Drew Camp, Vice President at the Ames Chamber of Commerce, here for our March 27th weekly legislative update. I'm going to start with the number one issue in the news, which is the passage of Phase 3, which we expect to happen today in the U.S. House. But on Wednesday evening, the U.S. Senate unanimously passed the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Security, or CARES Act, which provides $2.2 trillion in aid to Americans. And as I said, the House will be passing the bill here today, and we'll continue to keep you apprised of new developments as they occur. Some of the key provisions I want to touch on in the bill include the direct payments. We've heard a lot about these. Americans will receive a one-time direct deposit of up to $1,200, and married couples will get $2,400 plus an additional $500 per child. The payments will be available for incomes up to $75,000 for individuals and $150,000 for married couples. This is true even for those who have no income, as well as those who are on income based entirely from non-taxable means tested benefit programs such as Social Security. It's also important to note, I've had some people ask, will we get taxed on these payments? No, you will not. That will not count as taxable income as part of your 2020 income. So that's very important to note. There's also $349 billion in loans to small businesses to cover up to 8 weeks of cash flow, which will convert to a grant for amounts spent on items such as payroll, rent, or utilities, with the amount of the grant reducing if workers are laid off. Businesses and nonprofits with up to 500 workers in a single location can apply through qualifying banks for loans backed by the SBA. The loans will be capped at $10 million and will cover wages up to $100,000 per year. It will also provide $500 billion for loans, loan guarantees, and other aids to businesses, states, and municipalities. This is the fund that the Treasury will hold and will go directly to some of the corporations and some of the industries who are most impacted by the outbreak. It will also provide $32 billion in grants to cover wages at passenger air carriers, cargo air carriers, and contractors. It will provide $150 billion in direct aid to states distributed according to population size. A municipality or city could apply to receive aid directly, but it will reduce the amount available to the rest of the state. There will be $221 billion in a variety of tax benefits for businesses, most notably including businesses to defer payroll taxes for the rest of this calendar year. It will also temporarily allow businesses to claim deductions using today's losses against past profits to claim quick refunds for cash infusions. It will allow people to use retirement funds by waiving 10% early withdrawal penalty for distributions up to $100,000 for coronavirus-related purposes, retroactive to January 1st of 2020. It will also provide $340 billion in supplemental spending for high-need public services like public transit and healthcare. I want to specifically note when it comes to hospitals and healthcare, it will provide over $140 billion in appropriations to support the U.S. health system, with $100 billion going directly into hospitals. The rest will be provided for personal and protective equipment, or the PPE that we've heard a lot of talk about for healthcare workers, testing supplies, and increased workforce and training, accelerated Medicare payments, as well as supporting the CDC. $250 billion will be used to make unemployment insurance available to more categories of workers and to extend the duration of benefits to 39 weeks from the typical 26 weeks. It would also provide an extra $600 a week for 4 months. It will extend unemployment benefits through December 31st for eligible workers and will apply to the self-employed, independent contractors, sole proprietor, and gig economy workers. And what gig economy workers are is really those people working for companies such as Uber and Lyft. Also here in Iowa, agriculture is really important. So it's important to note that we'll increase the amount of the USDA can spend on its bailout program and increase that from $30 billion to $50 billion and provide $9.5 billion for emergency aid to the agricultural sector. As I said, we anticipate that bill passing here today in the House, and we'll continue to make sure that you get the most up-to-date information as things progress out in DC today on the Phase 3 bill. In Iowa, the governor continues to provide information and assistance to businesses across the state. One of the biggest things we found out here in the last 7 days was that the Small Business Administration issued an economic injury disaster loan declaration for Iowa. And what that means is small businesses now qualify for up to $2 million in loans. They can be up to 30 years depending on your credit and qualifications, and they're taken out at 3.75% for businesses and 2.75% for nonprofits. The Iowa Economic Development Authority has also put applications out to provide small business relief grants. Those are from $5,000 to $25,000 to really provide some gap financing. Those applications are due March 31st, so we do recommend that if you have not started to look at that and really consider doing that by the March 31st deadline. It's also important to note that the Iowa Department of Revenue is providing 60-day sales and withholding tax deferrals, and the Iowa Economic Development Authority is also providing targeted small business assistance grants for sole proprietors. There are qualifications for that, and they're all available via the links we have on our website and via the links below. The governor also announced unemployment insurance tax extensions to assist small businesses. This is a big deal because it will allow first quarter unemployment tax payments that are typically due April 30th to be delayed until July 31st to obviously provide cash infusion into businesses. The president also provided some good news a couple of days ago when he approved Iowa's presidential major disaster declaration for COVID-19. And why that's important is it removes a $5 million cap on federal funds and qualifies Iowa for the Community Disaster Loan Program for counties and municipalities. Once again, that's really important for our public sector to be able to get the assistance they need as they work to address the things they need to do in this outbreak. The last thing I want to touch on came as part of Governor Reynolds' press conference yesterday. She did sign a new proclamation which continues the state public health emergency. And what that did is effective 10 p.m. last night, so Thursday night, all existing closures, which were supposed to end on March 31st, will now go until April 7th. This includes such things for businesses such as restaurants, bars, bookstores, clothing stores, jewelry stores, and other retail businesses. So that closure, they can still do drive-through, they can still do delivery, they can still do all of those things, but make sure you're getting out and supporting them in those ways. But those requirements are now being put on them until April 7th. Additional information on the new proclamation is available via the link below. But one thing I can't emphasize enough is please continue to make sure that you're going out and supporting our outstanding small businesses however you can. They're always there for us and always lifting up our community. And we really need to make sure that we're out there supporting them right now, whether it's through the Buy in Ames and Story County program or just going and buying from them individually on your own time. Just make sure you're taking time to support those small businesses that are so important to our community. And I want to make sure I conclude by really just saying, have a nice weekend. And please feel free to contact anyone at the Chamber of Commerce if we can be helpful in any way. That's what we're here for. We're here to help you make sure that any assistance you need, you're getting your questions answered, and we're really helping you and making sure that that we all work through this together and that we all understand that we're better together and we will get through this. And please just make sure you have a nice weekend, and really do please reach out to us. We want to be helpful however we can. Thank you for watching. Please come back next week.